Hi, today I wanted to review a new tool that just came out. It's the Craftsman Gyroscopic Screwdriver, part number CMCF604. And the reason I'm so excited about this new tool is because about 4 years ago, I ended up getting one of these little Black & Decker gyros. And I actually got this almost by accident. It was clearanced. It was like one of the store returns. The packaging was all mangled, and Lowe's had this for like $7. And I could use a little cordless screwdriver. Sometimes my drills and impact drivers are just too darn big for what I want to do. So I got it, and when I got home, and honestly, I didn't even realize it had a gyroscopic, switch at all. I just thought it was a little run-of-the-mill cordless screwdriver. And when I opened it up and saw the gyroscopic action, I thought, oh, this is gonna be gimmicky. Whatever, maybe I'll return it, but if not, it's only $7. And it turned out I really liked the way it worked. I liked the way I thought the ergonomics were pretty good. It kind of puts things right in line with your wrist and use the heck out of the thing. Mostly doing super light work stuff like you know taking light switch covers off, reinstalling lights up on above. And I liked it so much that I actually wanted to try out the DeWalt version. Now, the DeWalt version's pretty expensive. They have three different versions. They have a couple inline ones, and then they had this pistol grip one that rotates to be inline. And because it was so expensive, I could never bring myself to get it. But I found it on sale with the two battery kit for around $50, and it was too good of a deal to pass up. I have not seen that good of a deal since, and so yeah, I pulled the trigger, and I use this thing all the time now. And I'll show you, we'll kind of do a little comparison and kind of go over some of the features and the things that are a little bit different between the three of them. But I think these things are great, and I'm hoping this one is good too, in spite of some of the, you know, things that other people are saying about it. I haven't seen any real reviews. I first became aware of it about 2 months ago thanks to a website called Tool Guide. And if you haven't checked out his website yet, this guy named Stuart does a fantastic job reviewing tools. There's great discussion. He's pretty active. I would highly recommend his website. Now, just to kind of, this tool, I just barely got it at Lowe's. I don't think it's been available for very long. But it was awarded some, cordless screwdriver award from a site called Pro Tool Innovations. It's complete baloney. I mean, this tool wasn't even out at the time it was reviewed. If you look at the image, it just looks like a regular screwdriver that just happens to be electric as well. The shaft length here is completely the wrong length, and I'll kind of show you what the tool looks like in just a moment. But it's, the thing it reminded me of when I heard about this was when I was a kid and read Motor Trend. Motor Trend always had these Car of the Year or Truck of the Year awards, and when I was a little kid, the 1990 Truck of the Year, which was the Ford Aerostar. And why Motor Trend still had any credibility after that, I don't know. But the truth is a lot of these awards are just spreading it around amongst all of the different brands, because that's the only way they can get them to buy advertising from their magazines or websites. And if you look at Motor Trend's website now, I think they were so embarrassed by it that they don't even show a picture. I mean, there's a little blip here, but you look at their Truck of the Year awards, and they every year they pick a different brand because they got to keep everybody advertising with them. But yeah, when they got this winner of the cordless screwdriver. And it's funny that, if you look on Craftsman's website, they still don't have this available anywhere on their website. I just happened to go to Lowe's.com today and found that it was available. And so, oh, cool, I'll go check it out. So I went. I mean, I live about a mile away from a Lowe's, and they didn't even have it out. I mean, I had to talk to like 3 people before I could find somebody who could even find it in the store, even though it says it's available. And they end up having to pull it down from the shelf. Now, one thing that kind of bugs me a little bit about the way some things are marketed is it says this is $39. It's on sale. It was $49. This tool has never been $49. It just barely showed up on their website in the last week or so. And, you know, there's not a single review. Nobody's ever spent $50 on this thing. And here's the truth of it. It's not going to be a $39 tool either. When we pulled it down, that had one of those end cap display things, there was a big sign that already said on sale for $29. So this tool is going to go on sale for $29, probably around Black Friday time or maybe a little bit sooner. At that, at $40, it's a little bit expensive. I think at $29, it becomes a little bit more of a compelling price. That puts it about the same price that the Black & Decker Gyro was originally, forever ago. So, take things with a grain of salt. Everybody does it. This is the way advertising is these days. Bugs me, but whatever. So now let's get back into the review of things. Let's look at the actual tool itself. Now, I want to show you some of the things this came with. So let's pull this out. Let's see if we can pull it out without tearing the package apart too much. All right, we're out. Now, it does have a lock on or off, I noticed, so you can use it like a regular screwdriver, and it basically keeps the button from depressing, which is cool. And then one thing I do like, and you can probably see right now, is it's got a nice bright light. Now, in the package, it looks like it has a charger, and it looks like it comes with some extra, there we go, some extra bits. So that's useful. A lot of times they'll only come with a couple of bits, and that's kind of a pain in the neck. Let's try to open that up a little bit better. Got the charger out. Yeah, all right. And get the bits out. So cool. So one thing that I do like about this, and that others have noted, is it comes with a micro USB port as the charger, and I think that's fantastic. So I mean, it comes with a charger, but the truth is, you could probably recharge with any cell phone power supply. Looking at this power supply, it doesn't have any, documentation about the charging rate. Oh, I'm mistaken. Yeah, it looks like it outputs, 600 milliamps. So it's a pretty slow rate of charge. Most cell phone chargers will probably be a little faster than 600 milliamp hours, or milliamps. So you could probably charge it quicker with a cell phone charger than the included one. If the battery is any good at all, which usually these tool batteries are 18650 cells, they're going to be pretty good, and they'll charge relatively fast, assuming that the circuitry allows it to charge faster. If this is a 600 milliamp hour charger, and this is like a 2 amp hour battery, in there, it's going to take about 3 to 4 hours to charge. A lot of times they say charge overnight. I'll have to double check that one a little bit more. But anyways, let's kind of discuss about the form factor. So, like I was talking about in the the you know Pro Tool Review website that gave it this award. I mean, it just looks like a standard screwdriver with a normal sized grip and a really long a normal proportion driver end. This is definitely quite a bit bigger tool than it looks, and this is a shorter in proportion, and so that's a little bit deceptive. And if you look at the packaging itself, the packaging itself is a little bit that way too. The person holding in the hand, it just looks like a normal screwdriver right here, kind of normal looking. But, whatever. That's what, marketing people are supposed to do, is make things look better than they are in reality. Looking at it in the hand, I don't feel like it's too big. I don't think it's uncomfortable. Here's just kind of the motion of it working. It's actually really smooth. I think it's a little bit smoother than the Black & Decker old one. It sounds quieter, at least. The rating says that it is, and I'll get closer if I can get it to focus. Maybe. No, I don't think it's going to focus for me. Not going to get along. Let's try it one more time. Yeah, this is why AVE always swears at his camera. But it says that it's rated for 400 or at 180 RPM, which is exactly the same as the gyro was, 180 RPM. And DeWalt and Black & Decker, they always do these. I think the DeWalt says 3.6 volts. Nope, it says 4 volts. 4 volt max. 4 volt max. The DeWalt 8 volt. Basically, the DeWalt has 2 lithium-ion batteries. Now, these use the 18650 cells. These use the 14500 cells, which is basically a pair of AA-sized lithium-ion batteries that generate 8 or 7.2 volts, if we're honest about it. Not 8, but that's the way the lithium battery world is. DeWalt likes to say 20 volt instead of 18 volt like everybody else. Just to show you what's included with the different kits, the old Black & Decker came with this weird charger. This output only output 100 milliamp hours, so this charger for the Craftsman is about 6 times as fast, which is great. It means it's going to charge quite a bit quicker. The DeWalt comes with a 1-hour charger, so if you get the 2 battery kit, you pretty much can go use it full time and always have a battery charger and ready to go. The DeWalt also came with a pretty nice little carrying bag, man purse, whatever you want to call the thing. They throw a lot of other little junky things in there to kind of keep going. So the DeWalt kit at $50 was a fantastic price. Like I said, usually retails about $90. I'll get out of the way for the time being, and now I kind of want to test some of the capabilities of these different tools. So one of the big things that it advertises right on the box is that it can drive up to 325 screws. They don't say what type of screw or how big of a screw, so we're just going to give it a little test with on a 2x4 with some drywall screws and see if it's strong enough for drywall screws. Now this is just your run-of-the-mill sheetrock screw. Let's see if it has enough power. It did. It was a little bit slow, but I'll give it credit for for getting it. And those are 1.5 inch and 5/8 inch sheetrock screws. So that was in kind of your run-of-the-mill piece of crap whitewood, barely above balsa grade. This is some Douglas fir that I started with the project and I miscut it, so I've got a little bit of that left. So let's see if it'll drive into Douglas fir, and it's a little bit longer than my thing. Sorry about the angle, guys. And it did it. I mean, barely. But, you know, that was a lot better than doing it by hand. And that's where these things are, really excel, is basically doing the work you might end up doing by hand because you don't have the right tool. And frankly, these things are a lot more. And here's the gyro, the old one. See if it'll go in. All right, the gyro did it too. Seemed like it struggled a little bit more. And that's in the Doug fir. So they both seem like they're living up to their claims of being able to drive a sheetrock screw. Which, now to kind of give it a limit test, I want to use kind of a longer, 2.5 inch screw. And I'll start with the old, gyro, see how far it makes it. We'll go on to the next one. And that's about it. Try the new Craftsman, and I'm not holding it in the most optimized position, I realize that, but I think it gives a pretty good idea of, how far it'll make it. And the DeWalt. Now, all right. So, fortunately, our newer Craftsman beat the old gyro, by about a 1/4 inch, 1/2 inch. The DeWalt, I was almost thinking it might make it in there. I think it hit the Douglas fir and said, it gave up, but I think it would have made it with just, it was going into whitewood. But yeah, quite a bit more powerful. It should be. It's a lot more expensive. This is, just kind of showing the relative power. This isn't what these tools are really designed for, but they are nice and lightweight and easy to, get in places if you're, doing hanging drawers or cabinets. I think I mentioned that I think they're really good for electrician work. When I was doing a little remodel on my house, I was, doing a lot of electric fixtures, and because I did it myself, even though I only had one room, I did like 6 fixtures, and that's why I have these extra ones, because inspector made me take the old style out that don't have the built-in little guards. So now I have like 6 of these things, but they're really quick at just quickly undoing these. The DeWalt's actually a little bit fast on these, and that's where I think these slower ones are actually a little bit better. You can really feel, when it bottoms out, and it won't strip it too much. And the nice thing is, where it's just a gyroscopic action, basically you just twist your wrist, or you lose your wire. And I'm not a an electrician by any means. So, you know, if I had to just back out or go back, I'd do it real quickly. If I was sinking, you know, the socket that's quite a ways in, this is a lot quicker than, you know, doing it by hand. And if I used like a drill or impact driver, there was times when you'd strip them out pretty easily. And then where I found them really useful too is like if you're painting your house and you gotta remove a bajillion of these things. You know, if you're undoing them with the impact driver or drill, it's, you don't worry too much. But when you're putting them back on, a lot of times you'll crack it right there. And so, really like these types of tools for, you know, just the light screw work that you don't need a full-on drill driver for. So, you know, I think this is a pretty good tool at 29 bucks or 30 bucks. I really like, and I think you can see it from my, you know, this light's fantastic. I even think this is a little bit brighter than the DeWalt light, you know. That's awesome when you're working in areas where it's, you know, a little bit dark or hard to see if you're working up on a, you know, light fixture. And the lightweight is great when you're working overhead, you know, a lot easier on your arms. Yeah, I think the build is pretty decent for what it is. So I think it's worth a shot at the 29 bucks. If you have any questions, I'll try to respond to any comments. I'll give you my thoughts on these, but I like gyroscopic screwdrivers. I think they have their place in, you know, toolbox. I know some people don't like them, but I think they're great. Thanks.